Well, I want to thank you all for coming and for giving me the pleasure of this get-together. You know, as me, like everybody else, we all tend to learn from past. This is the first I have with everybody sitting over here. We did it in the back, and it was so hot, and you know, you want to share, but this time I had a bright idea. I said, let's have it all sitting down in my office, and we talk about coffee. You know, you all heard about cappuccino, but I don't think you've ever bothered to say, what is cappuccino? Well, cappuccino is a way we drink coffee in Italy, mostly. We do drink black coffee too, the diluted one, but mostly cappuccino. And cappuccino is a way of brewing the espresso and of frothing the milk and putting them together. And with that, we're going to talk about latte and chocolate and mocha. We call it mocha over here, and macchiato and all this kind of names that made the people, they became now mainstream, where people go over and call macchiato here. This is a different macchiato in America than it is in Italy. But anyway, cappuccino. Let's start with the extraction. In American coffee, you put some coffee in a bag, and then you let the water boil and go over it and go through. So that process is, that brewing process is the gravity brewing, which means the water goes through the coffee and extracts whatever with the gravity, and so it comes a cup of coffee. You may have heard before that there is more caffeine in a cup of coffee than there is in an espresso or a cappuccino. Since caffeine is extracted with time, then you can see why, because the espresso is a fast brewing. Regular coffee is slowly goes through and extracts or more caffeine than espresso. It's not the caffeine that makes the coffee what you call bitter, but it's rather the other oils that are extracted that make that taste that way. Now we talk about the ideal. What is an espresso machine and what is a grinder? Espresso machine is a device, contrary to what many people tell you, that there is machines that are fast. Wrong. There are machines that make more no, that's wrong. If we agree that to have a perfect cup, we call a perfect cup, is we should let water, the machine will heat the water up to 195 degrees. More or less, the machine is able to keep the water at that level of heat. Now, we need the machine provides you with a motor that will push the water through the coffee, and it should be done in 20 to 25 seconds. The operator, the owner of the machine, decides what quantity should be extracted in this 20 seconds, and I'll tell you why there is a variable that can be varies. It's because the machine presses the water always constant. You understand? You all understand. It gets the water and pushes it through. Now, the coffee, the grinder, is very important. If you want it to fill that quantity in 20 seconds, then you make it a certain grind. If you want it to be more quantity, then you make it a little coarser, because the coarser the coffee, the faster the water can go through. You all understand that? The espresso, that's why we have a grinder and a machine. Grinder is as important or even more important than the espresso machine, because you can vary the grind. And you say, but why not set it up at one grind and leave it there? Because the weather changes and the humidity makes a big impact on the coffee when you put it through. You all understand? Any question? Not this morning. Okay. So we control. We need to be concerned with with the shot of coffee before we build any drinks. The espresso is the basis for all the drinks we're going to produce with this espresso bar. And all the ones you can also think, because I would like to be able to give you just the basics today. And then from then you can add your own twist, whether it is the flavor that I put in the milk for you, whether it is that you can continue doing the instead of putting the sugar in the cappuccino, but you can put it in the milk and froth it. Do you know that you're going to use less sugar by doing that, because the steam is able to melt that sugar and get a lot more than you will by stirring. You understand? So that's the basis of all the drinks, the espresso, which we, by the way, machines provide you with a handle for a double and a handle for a single. The difference between is not just the two spouts, but it's the basket inside the handle that is is wider and more holes and deeper than the single is the double. So the double, you put the double quantity of coffee. If we use 5 grams, then you put 10 grams. And it's going to be double. It's going to allow you to put double. Now, this point, it comes the how much do you press? And in the internet, you can find 1,000, 30 pounds, 20 pounds. So you're all confused. My solution is you have a tamper either on the grinder or by hand. Just do your strength. Don't worry about whether he will be able to pounce more. And then you don't have to. I would suggest you press with your own strength. That's it. Don't worry the 30 pounds and 40. Once we press it, we put it on the handle. Now it comes this, the brewing is done, that it comes this hot water and goes through the coffee and makes these shots of espresso. So we can have the handle that makes 2 shots and the handle that makes 1 shot. Now we're going to build a drink. Cappuccino. You all heard, and I don't know what's your understanding of what the difference between cappuccino and latte. But the basic idea that was born in Italy, latte comes from caffè, coffee, and latte, and milk. Latte it's Italian for milk. And I think that Americans love to say the word latte. That's why it became so popular. Although it came also from the fact that latte contains, the latte contains more liquid. So therefore, if you start with the same quantity of coffee, the more milk you put in there, the lighter it is. Am I correct? So the more liquid you put to cappuccino, it's a lot more froth. And the froth, although makes pleasant for you to sink your lips into, it's still froth, it's air, bubbles. But the liquid is on the bottom with the coffee. So the cappuccino should be stronger than latte. Latte originally, or believe it or not, the original latte was a cup like that in bars in Italy, just like that, where you put a shot of coffee, of espresso, and milk up to a 1/4 inch from the top. And then you go with your steamer to the bottom and you heat it. You don't froth it. Zero. To me, though, I like to add a little excitement in all the drinks, so therefore I froth it all. And with that, I can tell you, I've experimented at the World Trade Center in Dallas. We had the bars from the early 90s. So I studied the people, what they like, and I added the excitement, like I did with you, with lifting up the hand. It's a little exciting to have somebody do that for you. It's a little like a mini show that goes, in my view, goes with paying $3 or $4 for a cappuccino, whether it is your intent or or the coffee house that you go down the street where the guy doesn't care. He's just making you